Good
Dropped
morning
again.
and good afternoon.
There.
Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. This is our Thursday's 13 episode. Roger has drawn up a list for us. A list of 13 things, and our list today is, I guess, more songs
Part
with
two.
questions in them.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2 of more songs with a question
Musical
in the title of the
question.
song. Right? Specifically the title
Musical
has to be a
question.
question. And we're going to find those
Musical
answers.
questions.
We're going to find
That's
all the
simple.
answers to these
Musical
musical questions, like
Words.
what is love
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff. This is Before Coffee, the
Here,
father and daughter
I don't even
comprehensive
have that
news of
one. There's another one. Yeah, all right. Anyway, okay.
Okay. Please stop talking during my
I won't
intro.
interrupt.
'Cause I have to edit this every time.
Why? It's so much fun.
Because nobody can hear either of us, and it's just a mungle of mess because it's of the delay. It's just you talking over me and me talking over you, and you can't understand any of it. Anyways, this is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we started. We haven't had any caffeine. We are just waking up and learning how to read. So come along with us on today's headlines. Today on Thursday's 13, EU eyes higher fees on US and British tourists to repay post-COVID debts, and all NATO members to hit a 2% defense spending in 2025, Rutte says.
And good morning from the United States. This is Roger from the United States, where we report on the SpaceX rocket explodes on the launch pad, and Carol Kay declines her Rock and Roll Hall of Fame invitation.
Migrant crossings. Faced with British pressure, French police step up their interventions in the channel. Warning signs on climate flashing bright red, top scientists say.
Yes, and are you going to go my way? We're going to talk about part 2 of 13 musical questions.
In our culture news, Notting Hill Carnival in danger without urgent funding, says a leaked letter.
It's Juneteenth 2025, which is also World Sauntering Day. So if you're walking today, don't be in a hurry. Just kind of ease along the road. It's June 19th, 2025 on Before Coffee.
Juneteenth is a really important holiday for everyone, and in case you don't know the historical background, because you're European or African or wherever, Asian, it's the day they officially knew, everyone in the world knew that slavery was abolished. Because, you know, we didn't have the internet back then. You didn't go on Twitter and then says, hey guys, you're free, get out of here, you know?
It was specifically Texas.
Yeah, Texas specifically was like keeping it on the down low, not letting anyone know what was happening, and then they're like, "Hey guys,
working in the fields." Yep. Oh
yeah.
By the way, y'all are
literally
free.
slaving away.
What? Yeah.
Hey, dude, you don't have to be here
Everybody
anymore.
knew they
You
were
can
free.
go. But we won't go into the
Everybody
history
knew
of
they
how slavery
were-
never really ended after June. Had the whole
Yeah,
sharecropping
exactly.
and stuff. Blah 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 blah. Celebrate Juneteenth today.
Jim Crow,
Celebrate
sharecropper.
eradicating one of the worst historical, chattel slavery eras of humanity, really. Shame on you.
Right. Yeah.
But
The
now-
brutality of the slavery
Very brutal.
mindset. We're celebrating that ridiculous idea. Okay.
Let's roll our first segue here for our stories. I hope it rolls this time since I spent, here we go. I spent 10 minutes fixing the wheel not rolling on stream. We've got
No, the sticks are swollen
an
raw.
appropriate metaphor or simile. That ready? For our first story, which is about question. We're talking about having to pay more fees at the border for U.S. and British tourists so that people can make up all of that debt they incurred during COVID. And everyone accrued some debts, and a lot of people have different. One of the ways Europe is looking at doing it. This is on Politico.eu, and it's written by Gregorio Sorgi, coming out of Brussels. British and American tourists could pay higher fees to enter the EU under a plan to boost the bloc's tax revenues. The EU is considering taxing foreign travelers to pay back part of the 350 billion euro common debt that was issued to finance its recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic 2021. But the potential new levy would be a particular hit to British tourists who already face longer passport queues and more restrictions to enter Europe as a result of Brexit. Yeah, there we go. Everyone's favorite word of destroying the British economy.
Yes.
The move may also stimmy.
That not been thought of. Anyway,
and yet again, surprised. The move may also stemmy the recent post-Brexit thaw between London. Oh, he'll just start. That may also stemmy the recent post-Brexit thaw between London and Brussels, which has seen the EU offer smoother passport controls and red tape for British travelers. Nevertheless, raising the EU's entry fee above the current proposed €7 fee that comes as part of the bloc's new European Travel Information and Authorization System, or EIAS scheme, is emerging as one of the most popular tax options ahead of the European Commission's formal budget proposal on July 16th, several diplomats told Politico. ETIAS is set up to apply to 60. Sorry?
I said if they're smart, they'll hide it in your ticket price, like your plane ticket price.
I'm not sure if that's how they're doing it.
They'll make it saying airline charges and like different airlines. If they're smart, but they probably aren't.
Yeah. It's set to apply to 60 countries that have visa-free agreements with the EU, including the US and UK, from the last quarter from 2020 onward. So these are people who don't even need a visa, but they need €7 to enter the country. Any further increase in the fee would similarly apply to the same cohort of countries. It seems that there is a possibility of gradual increase of strengthening the long-term revenue potential, the Polish Rotating Council Presidency wrote in an internal note. A commission spokesperson told Politico possible adjustment of the fee is being considered to factor into the rise in inflation since the €7 levy was adopted in 2018. While the idea is politically an easy sell, it would likely generate less than a €1 billion per year. Remember that they have earlier 350 billion euro debt. That's only $1 billion a year of extra revenue for trying to pay off that debt. A drop in the ocean compared to the EU's annual debt repayments of $25 billion to $30 billion that will start in 2028. Another popular option being floated to raise revenue involves levying a €2 fee on billions of imported small parcels from retailers, such as Shein and Temu.
Crazy.
The idea, outlined in the Commission's papers seen by Politico, was endorsed by the EU Trade Commission Maros Sefcovic earlier this week. Faced with looming debt repayments, EU countries on Thursday, which is today, the 19th of June, discussed a variety of additional levies, including those on digital and crypto firms, airline companies, or the profits of multinationals. I think it should be the airline companies. You know how much of that debt relief was given to airline companies who basically closed for like the entire pandemic? Yeah. Why did they get
they just basically
support?
Just like every other billionaire in the United States, right? Yeah. They just got bailed out by the government. Because socialism is bad, don't you understand?
That's just for the rich people.
Right.
Well, rich
socialism is just fine and dandy.
Yeah. While these options would generate higher revenues than a traveler tax, they face stronger opposition as income and business taxes are usually levied at the national level. Besides, critics fear that raising wealth taxes would put off investors from Europe. No! Our new own resources are additional taxes on business or taxes on aviation is not the way to competitiveness in Europe. Matteo Lavo, the executive vice president of Airbus, during a conference on the week. Raising the EU's entry fee is appealing because of its €7. It's among the lowest in the world, and the revenue is currently not being levied by states. Compare, the US charges $21 to EU travelers, whereas the UK levies a £16. Yeah, they double it up, go to 14, and that's still lower than everyone else. 14, that doesn't seem bad at all in comparison. The Commission estimates the tax will impact up to 0.5 million travelers in 2027, but it did not forecast the revenue it expects to generate. ETIAS makes sense. Get into the European Union as a bloc. You need to pay something, said Pascal Saint-Amans. Maybe it should be higher because you get access to 27, 30 countries. I think it's 32 countries in the Schengen zone. That's a lot of countries you get access to because they have open borders. Unlike US, where it's just one country, or the UK, which is also just one country. It's not like if you get access to the UK, you get also.
Does Germany or France
Norway.
charge anything? I don't think. I've been to Germany and France. They didn't charge anything. They're not thinking about charging anything, are they? They're the other two big European populations.
That's why I'm explaining to you here. Right, we have the Schengen zone here. So even if you're not part of the EU, we have the Schengen zone. It's open borders, no fees, no levies, no anything across the border here. And that, like I said, that's 32 countries you don't have to pay a levy to every time you travel, right?
Yeah.
Whereas,
I was just asking for the point I was going to make.
Thing,
anyway.
Yeah, a comparable thing would be like the US charging you every time you cross state lines, right? That would be a comparable thing. That's 50 states you have to pay. Oh, give us €7. You're going from Alabama to Kentucky or whatever.
Right.
You know what? No one's doing that.
Anything but taxing the rich is what they're saying. That's all it is. Anything but that. Yeah.
Sadly, because we want to be competitive, and right now the turn, at least economically, is a lot of people aren't taxing the rich. So if you start taxing the rich and no one else is doing it, well, they're just going to go over there, and then the EU is not going to get anyone. Sadly. The biggest economies control if taxing the rich is the thing to do, and the biggest economy is unfortunately the U.S. In particular, U.S. states, right? Like California, the 5th largest GDP in the world, and it's California, just one state in the U.S. So.
California is 4th. Yeah, 4th. Yeah. They would be 4th behind Germany, I believe. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, because of that, if California or just the U.S. in general decides, you know what, we're not taxing the rich, the whole entire world has to follow suit. Otherwise, they lose their. You know this. You've actually taken a degree in economy and business. Germany has criticized the move, the closed door meetings.
The trickle down doesn't work.
Yeah. We don't have to go into the trickle down, right? Let me finish the story.
Right.
It makes sense.
UK's been trickled down for its entire history. They've been trickled down. Anyway.
Pascal Saint-Amans, a tax expert and former organization, says this makes sense because the European Union has a bloc. You need to pay something. And Germany has criticized the move in the closed-door meetings on the 19th of June, arguing that it could desensitize travel to Europe, according to two. I mean, I think increasing it to 14 would not desensitize. People are still going to the US and the UK. And yet again, getting access to 32 countries or something, 27 countries for only €7. That's ridiculous. So I think they increase it, maybe even triple. 30 for every country you have to pay €1. Every country in the Schengen zone, so €32 visa fee to get into the Schengen. So whatever.
Once countries start doing this crap, everybody's gonna start doing it.
Well, the thing with the thing with this is always
you can raise money
whenever
this
you
way.
try to change anything, there's always one person saying, "Well, this could happen." Okay, just because it could happen doesn't mean we shouldn't do it at all. What about we try it, and then if it does actually cause a decrease in people traveling to Europe, we can lower the price. Wow! Instead of just not doing anything at all, you know.
What if I'm just changing flights in Heathrow? Right? Do I have to pay this fee? Because if I'm just changing flights in Heathrow, I can just get off the plane and never get on another plane. Nobody's going to find. I'm just saying, man. So whatever.
No idea how these work.
I want to get around the fee.
Happening. They must. I do think they must be putting them on your airplane ticket. I didn't even know these were happening. I've never had to take my wallet out and say, "Here,
if I want
£14." I've never had to do that when I went to the UK. So.
Let's say I got a really cheap fare, like a super cheap fare to say Berlin with a stop in Heathrow, right? And I really don't want to go to Berlin. I want to go to Heathrow. So I just get off my plane in Heathrow and never get on my connecting flight, and I never check any bags, so I don't care. And I just go stay in England, and nobody's. I mean, they might actually be making you pay a levy depending on where you're going through. You might actually be paying the levy. Or they'll my ticket. Yeah, customs will probably take it and say, "What? You're supposed to be going to Heathrow." That's all I need to get to my metaphor, which is I was thinking about actually exit visas, which do exist a lot of countries, like in the South America. You got to pay an exit visa. Why don't they do that? Because an exit visa is like a metaphor for a ransom, right? It's like a ransom. You can't leave the country until you pay it. Anyway, so long.
Oh, you want to go home? That's cute.
And I was up. Yeah, you want to go home? Okay, we're just going to hold you hostage and you pay us $350, which is what it is sometimes. Ridiculous, right? Colombia had to pay like over $200 one time.
That is pretty.
Another question. Another thing I had. We were talking about the biggest economies. The United Kingdom has the 6th biggest economy in the world. The 6th biggest, in spite of having like the 20th population. I mean, they're rich, and their solution is let's get money from elsewhere. That's why they stay rich. They figured this out. They could just,
but
to me, it's just going to kill tourism.
The UK is also not increasing taxes on the wealthy. That's a big kind of background drama that's happening right now too. So
why would you do that?
The EU is just not going to do that, even though it probably would work, right? The EU to actually taxes on the wealthy so that they can pay off this debt. Because guess what? They probably went into that debt for these wealthy people, like the airports, right? Start taxing the airports. They're the ones who made us even get this relief debt to begin with, right? We had to pay our airports because they're all going out of business because no one's flying. But it does seem like, hey, it's time for you to pay back, dude. Looks like travel is back up. Looks like airports are making a lot of money. Time to pay up. Give us that money. Let's go to our next story, which is also about spending money. This is on Kyiv Independent by Tim Zadorny. All NATO member states are hitting their 2% defense spending. Rutte says, who is I believe NATO Secretary General. Yeah, he used to be the Prime Minister of the Netherlands for a very long time. All 32 NATO members states are on track to meet the alliance's 2% GDP defense spending benchmark in 5. Secretary General Mark Rutte said on the 17th of June, which I believe that was right, if I'm asked correctly, yes, at the G7 summit in Canada. The announcement marks a major shift for the alliance, which has faced repeated criticism from the U.S. President Donald Trump, convicted felon Trump, for failing to meet spending commitments. The U.S. president has long pushed NATO members to spend more on defense, at one point suggesting the threshold be raised to 5%. I think it should be way higher than that. But I think it needs to be, I don't know how much percent of GDP, but it needs to be in the billions, maybe even the trillions in total spending, and compete with what is, I'm assuming, the U.S. just completely pulling out on any defense spending help for Ukraine, and that he's going to be the only one here.
Right.
This is really great news, Rutte said, praising an announcement from
attacking citizens of the United States.
This is really great news, Rutte said, praising an announcement from Canada and Portugal, last two holdouts. The fact that you decide to bring Canada to the 2% spending when it comes to NATO is really fantastic, told Canadian Mark Carney. 2024, only 23 alliance members met the target, according to NATO estimates. Poland led all members with a 4.12% of GDP allocated defense. Yeah, I hope so. They were there during the Crimean fiasco, so. Estonia, also 3.43, and the U.S. at 3.8. So the U.S. actually did less than Poland and Estonia, which is threatened by Russia most of the time. They have to have high defense. Oh yeah, I was going to say 5%. I think it should be 5%, not 2%. But I guess Poland agrees with me. They're at 4%. Rutte's comments came ahead of the June 24th to 25th NATO summit in The Hague, which has been reportedly scaled back to concessions on defense spending and alliance capabilities. The move, according to Italian outlet ANSA, is designed to avoid friction with convicted felon Trump, whose presence at the summit remains unconfirmed. Ukraine has been invited to the summit, but President Volodymyr Zelensky, for his attendance and uncertainty with the U.S. delegation, are reported on Tuesday, June 17th. According to the outlet, some in Kyiv are questioning whether Zelensky's presence at the summit would be worthwhile without a confirmed meeting with Trump. Many NATO members have cited Russia's ongoing war against Ukraine and Trump's isolationist rhetoric as a reason to accelerate defense spending and prepare for potential. That's exactly what I'm saying, and I'm not even in the NATO membership or a delegate or anything. 100% do that. Yes, thank you. Europe can do it. Europe has, done wars. They've defended their borders and stuff in the past. There's my shorter story.
Yep.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, Russia-Ukraine war is like a really bad game show, right? Where every time, we're going to use the wheel analogy, every time you spin the wheel, there's a bad choice, and you win no prizes. There you go.
No prizes. The prize is freedom
World's
from tyranny. I think that's the prize.
All right, exactly.
Roll our segue wheel for our next segue, which on sequitur.
Non-sequitur. All right. And we've got 2 stories. I'm just typing something real quick for my 3rd story. All right, we're going to talk about the, first of all, the actual breaking news from overnight is Starship exploded during a static fire test, rattling Cameron County residents. Cameron County is in South Texas. ValleyCentral.com has a story. Alejandra Yanez. I didn't believe that's pronounced. Alejandra Yanez. People in Cameron County were startled by a loud rumble that shook windows and rattled dishes. The Cameron County Sheriff's Office confirmed that the loud rumble was an explosion from one of SpaceX's static fire tests. The spaceship rocket was being tested at Massey's Testing Center when it exploded at 11:01 p.m. Wednesday night. Valley Central is not aware of any injuries. SpaceX issued an official statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, regarding the incident. At approximately 11 p.m. Central Time, the Starship preparing for the 10th flight test experienced a major anomaly while on a test stand at Starbase, the statement read, in the official language of Starbase. SpaceX stated that the safety clear area around the site was maintained throughout the operation. All personnel are safe and accounted for. So thankfully, nobody was hurt. Our Starbase team is actively working to save the test site and the immediate surrounding area in conjunction with local officials, the statement read. The space company stated that there are no hazards to residents and surrounding communities, at least this time. We asked individuals not to attempt to approach the area while safing operations continue. Safing operations? Ooh, there's a word. Safing operations. Anyway, this is a developing story.
The developing story.
And there's your space explosion. It's a
safing operation.
Safing operation, I guess, is making sure everybody's safe, right?
Okay.
Stay in place, right? So we can count heads, right? Like when there's a fire drill, you go to one spot so you can count heads. Everybody's here.
Okay.
Same kind of shit. All right. So, would you have a metaphor? No, you had a non sequitur.
Her memory is awful. My non sequitur is, wow, I love when rockets don't go into the sky, and I'm glad we're spending all this money on it that they can go up.
Yep.
Woo!
This is this huge government contract to send a bunch of space junk up into the sky so they can collide with other space junk in the future. Totally unnecessary crap they keep doing that nobody needs. Anyway.
And the key word there is government contract. The government is paying for this with your tax money.
Yep. And don't forget, Leon Skunk went ahead and he went ahead and cut a whole bunch of government spending and fired a bunch of government workers so he can cash in. So we hate that guy with a burning passion because he's a criminal. No, I would say a corporate criminal. That's redundant, right? Let's go to the next story. We're going to talk about rock and roll. That rocket was rolling and rocking, right? Late last night. We're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Miss Carol Kay, who seems a bit sour in her old age, does not want to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is from RollingStone.com because they had the shorter article on it. This is from a writer named Charisma Matarag. Her first name is Charisma.
That sounds like somebody who works for Rolling Stone to me.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of pressure on you, and you got a name like Charisma, right? Carol Kay, one of the most recorded bassists of all time, has declined the invitation to attend this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. People are asking, well, I don't think she declined induction. I think she just declined the ceremony. I don't think she can stop them from putting her in. We're going to put you in anyway. Forget it. Anyway, people have been asking, no, I won't be there, wrote Kay in a Facebook post shared on Wednesday. I am declining the RRHOF Awards, turning it down because it wasn't something that reflects the work that studio musicians do and did in the golden era of the 1960 recording hits. Okay. Why doesn't it? Doesn't explain, but whatever. During the 60s and 70s, Kay became part of a group of session musicians known as the Wrecking Crew, a collective often called upon by the Beach Boys, Phil Spector, the Monkees, and more. They're all the Monkees and all of them. None of those people played on any of the Beach Boys and Monkees, almost none of them played any instruments on their recordings. They did in real life, but not in the recording. However, let me go on. However, in her post, the 90-year-old musician criticized the group's name while emphasizing the collaborative nature of the studio musician. You were always part of a team, not a solo artist at all. There were always 350 to 400 studio musicians. AFM Local 47 Hollywood is actually the union they belong to, because I put it in parentheses here. That's what that has to mean. Associated Federation of Musicians, I think what AFM would mean. Working in the 60s and called that only since the 19th it was a terrible, insulting name, she wrote. Okay. Somebody who takes it literally. While Kay bitter person, I'm sorry. She's about something. Well, Kay go 2008 documentary, The Wrecking Crew. Well, Tedesco. Danny Tedesco is the son of one of the Wrecking Crew guitarists, by the way, who never got any fame either. The Wrecking Crew, the documentary was called The Wrecking Crew, I've seen. It's pretty good. She has long objected to the name, stating that the collective didn't use it and that drummer Hal Blaine was the one who dubbed the group. So she didn't like Hal Blaine, basically what it boils down to. So as you know, it's got to be it. It's got to be personal. Anybody else, and I think great names. So to me, it's tough shit, right? I'm sure Pink Floyd didn't like her. So as a working jazz musician, so as guitar work in the 1950s, working 1949, I was accidentally asked to record records by producer Bumps Blackwell in 1956. Got into recording good music with Sam Cooke and other artists, and then accidentally, again, she keeps saying this is accident, placed on Fender Precision Bass mid 1963 when someone didn't show. Kay continued, I never played bass in my life, but being an experienced recording, it was plain to see that 3 bass players hired to play dum-dee-dum on record dates wasn't getting it. It was easy for me to invent good bass lines. As a jazz musician, you invent every note you play. And they used a lot of jazz musicians and former big band experienced musicians at all those rock and pop dates too. He just hated rock and roll. I think that's what this boils down to. I think he just hates rock and roll.
Definitely has something going on.
I gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Why would you hate a name like the Wrecking Crew if you're a rock and roll? She just hates rock and roll. That's got to be it. The famed bassist ended her note by declaring, I refuse to be part of a process that is something else rather than what I believe in for others' benefit and not reflecting on the truth. We all enjoyed working with each other. So, yeah. Sounds bitter. I would like to celebrate her contribution, but she doesn't want me to. So, tough shit. I ain't going to celebrate it. There you go. Bitter old lady. Bitter because rock and roll has recognized her accomplishments. How bitter can you be? All right, go ahead.
Some people just can't take a compliment. That's what this sounds like, How dare you tell me I did anything good?
Gotta be.
I'm a useless waste of human space, right. I guess. And I guess she wished she just didn't do anything in her life. Just didn't exist.
Yeah, I'm left to draw.
Like emo. Maybe she likes emo music more than rock music.
You're left. Right. Who knows, right? Because you're left to draw any conclusion from this you want, because she either is a bitter old lady who hates everybody. I can draw that conclusion just from this. Like, what? Or she hates rock and roll, or she hates the drummer who came with the name. Those are the conclusions I can come with, because her criticisms are ridiculous. She's ridiculous. The name is the reason she doesn't want to go. The name? Really? She's already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, by the way, because the Wrecking Crew as a group went in a long time ago. So
really? Okay.
I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, so she's the second woman to get in twice, along with Stevie Nicks, who probably should only be in once. But anyway.
Stevie Nicks should only be in
shred
once?
her for that.
Or she should be only being once?
Yeah, but she didn't have... Nah, Stevie Nicks should be with Fleetwood Mac, but their solo career wasn't that great. It wasn't like, oh my god, that breakthrough solo career.
Okay, we got a Stevie Nicks hater over here.
I don't hate Stevie Nicks. I know where to draw the line, right? I realize why they did it. I know why they did it. They did it because, hey, there's no females in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. We need somebody we can do that had a rock and roll group and a solo career, and Stevie Nicks was the only one they could find, so they did it that way.
And isn't that a sad
That's legitimately
state
how
of affairs?
I know, and they could have. Sister Rosetta Tharpe should have been the first rock and roll guitar player in there, but that wasn't true either. So again, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame always gets it wrong. I understand everybody's angst towards them, but to me, if you're getting inducted, don't be bitter about it. Just say thank you and move on.
Yeah, why are you making a whole article about it? Yeah, that's the weird spot. Steve, I think you spelled Stevie
I thought you had a legitimate reason
Demigorge.
or something, yeah?
Oh, well, and welcome Demigorge to the...
Right.
I'm pretty sure
and
you
more spins of the wheel.
Yeah, that's
time
right.
For more spins of the wheel. As I close.
Let's spin the wheel. See what we're playing. Playing with fire, maybe. No fire, actually. We're gonna have to... What did that land on? Ooh, I can't tell.
What did it land on?
One.
Oh, shit. It's the black ones, right? The joke?
Tell a joke. It looks like it landed on Tell a joke. Usually I have a thing in the chat that tells me what it lands on, but nothing is working today. So I have to use my eyes, and using my eyes is hard. We'll go with Tell a Joke. And go to our first story, or I guess my third story here, which is about migrant crossings. Faced with the UK doesn't like migrants in its country. Maybe it shouldn't have conquered the entire world. I know that's not why, but maybe they should stop having a great GDP. I don't know. I don't know if there's an actual huge splurge of people going to only the UK, or it's just like ants, right? Imagine ants, and you've got like a giant piece of candy, and you've got a piece of bread, and then you can see ants like swarming the candy. Is it that kind of scenario where everyone's swarming the UK, or is it just like, oh, we get a normal amount of migrants here, but we're gonna freak out like it's 1 million people, Because I think even we've done articles about this where the numbers have gone down. The amount of people arriving have gone down, but still, and they wanted to be 0, I guess. This is by Marianne, a French newspaper. To prevent migrants from crossing the channel to the United Kingdom, armed police officers equipped with heavy equipment intervened on the beach of Gravenelles Nord. This type of intervention was unprecedented and appears to be the result of British pressure on France to reduce the number of these boats. Our law enforcement agencies beefing up their tactics to prevent migrants from crossing the channel to England. According to France Info published this Wednesday, which was 18th of June, around 30 volunteers were intercepted on Friday, June 13th, on the beach of Gravelines Nord, a few kilometers from Dunkirk. Wow, how ironic. But for once, the 10 police officers who carried out the operation were armed and equipped with shields, heavy tear gas. Oh, they're running away from their country. Let's make sure to gas them, too. Isn't that, not against the law? It quickly became very chaotic, with people shouting and children crying. Oh, great, gassing children, a British photographer, Dan Kitwood, said, who witnessed the scene. He told France Info. Half submerged and facing the current, the intervention team was ultimately unable to stop the departure of most of the migrants. According to Dan Kitwood's testimony, While the police did not use disproportionate force and were not overly aggressive, they did, however, try something new, and it didn't work. Such heavy equipment is indeed unprecedented for this type of intervention, a strategy that seems motivated by the continued crossings. According to figures from British Home Office, 2024, 36,800 migrants attempted to cross the channel in boats, 25% more than in 2023, but also by the pressure put by the country on French government to them. On May 31st, British Home Office urged the French to make the necessary changes to their operational policy so that the authorities could intervene in shallow waters as quickly as possible. As early as late February, Bruno Rutte, so here's a French last name, Rutte, stated in an interview with IC Nord that 1,200 personnel of law enforcement were deployed every day along the 150-kilometer coastline between Dunkirk and Tequet. Among them, 730 are funded by the United Kingdom under the Sandhurst Treaty signed between the two countries 7 years ago. The Home Secretary also urged police officers to prioritize interceptions up to 300 meters from the coast. However, for Charlotte Quantes, head of advocacy and communications for Utopia 56 Association, which provides humanitarian aid to migrants in the area, it is difficult not to make the connection between the methods seen in Gravelines lines and the change of doctrine called for by Bruno Rutte at the end of February. For his part, interviewed by Lily, the maritime prefect of the Channel in the North Sea, warned anyone considering crossing the Channel about the risks involved, particularly on precarious and overloaded boats. This maritime sector is one of the busiest areas in the world. More than 600 commercial passengers a day. So, love for it to be. I would so love for it to be. Oh, we gotta save these migrants from drowning at sea. People are dying out there. But we all know that's not what it is. I wish it was that. But it's not that. It is, we don't want these people coming here. These people. Migrants. Disgusting. Keep them off our borders. They're showing us different ways humans live, and we don't want to see how other humans live. We only want to know how we, the English, live. And we get confused when people start adding spices to their food. What do you mean, not salt and pepper? What is this? Of course, that's not true, because plenty of people in the UK love Indian. Plenty of spices. Probably not as much spices as actual Indian food. Give me a joke.
I don't know, man. Okay, how many aristocrats does it take to change a light bulb?
How many?
How many British aristocrats is going to be like Britain, right? None, because they just asked the immigrant to do it for them.
And then kick them out the country. Yeah, you know how light bulbs work.
Check his papers, but not until he's done changing the light bulb, of course.
Check his papers.
And of course, they will not be punished. They will not be punished for hiring somebody illegally. Only the person they hired will be punished. What a world.
I didn't know he was illegal, as I paid him under the counter with my, with no bank account.
Do we have a wheel or
another story? Here's another one. This is about more water, and this is
that guy I'm paying in cash. That guy I'm paying in cash. I had no idea he was illegal. Yeah. Anyway,
this is coming out of Paris. Scientists are warning that the global warming has increased a lot of bad climate change indicators, all in uncharted territory. More than 60 top scientists warned today on the 19th of June. Greenhouse gas emissions from the burning of this on Japan today. Greenhouse gas emissions from burning fossil fuels and deforestation hit a new high in 2024. An average over the last decade, a record 6 billion tons per year. Is 100,000 tons per minute of CO2 or its equivalent in other gases. They reported in a peer review update. Earth's surface temperatures last year breached the 1.5 degrees Celsius for the first time, and the additional CO2 humanity can emit with a third chance of staying under the threshold long term, our 1.5 carbon budget will be exhausted in a couple of years, they calculated. Wow. Investment in clean energy outpaced investment in oil and gas. Coal last year 2-1, but fossil fuels account for more than 80% of the global consumption. So instead of 2-for-1, we need 8-for-1. Yes, right. We need to outpace clean energy 8-1, not 2-1. And growth in renewables still lags behind demands. Included in the 2015 Paris Climate Treaty as an aspirational goal, 1.5 limit has been validated by science as necessary for avoiding a catastrophically climate-addled world. A hard cap on warming to which nearly 200 nations agreed was well below degrees commonly interpreted 7 or 1.8. So that's our actual. We're already in crunch time for these higher levels of author Joachim Vergelt, a professor of climate science and policy in College London, told journalists in a briefing. Next 3 or 4 decades, pretty much the timeline over which we expect it to happen. No less alarming than record heat, carbon emission, the gathering of pace of which these climate indicators are shifting. According to the study published in Earth System Science Data, human-induced warming increased last decade at a rate of unprecedented in instrumental record, and well above the 2010-2019 average registered in the UN's most governmental panel on climate change (IPCC) report in 2021. The new findings, led by the same scientists using essentially the same methods, are intended as an authoritative, albeit unofficial, update to the benchmark of IPCC reports underpinning global climate diplomacy. They should be taken as a reality check by policymakers, the authors suggested. I tend to be an optimistic person, and lead author Piers Forster, head of the University of Leeds, presently climate future. But if you look at your year's update, things are moving in the wrong direction. The rate at which sea levels have shot up in recent years is almost alarming, scientists say. After creeping up on average well under 2 millimeters per year from 1901 to 2018, global oceans have risen 4.3 millimeters annually since 2019. 4 millimeters. An increase in ocean watermark of 23 centimeters, the width of a letter size of sheet of paper, over the last 125 years has been enough to imperil many small islands and hugely amplify the destructive power of storm surges worldwide. That's right, get ready for hurricane season. Every year it's going to get worse and worse. An additional 20 centimeters of sea level rise by 2050 could cause $1 trillion in flood damage annually in the world's 136 largest. Earlier research shown. Another indicator underlying all changes in the climate system on Earth, so-called energy imbalance, the difference between the amount of solar energy in the atmosphere and the smaller amount leaving it. So far, 91% of human-caused warming has been absorbed by oceans, starring life on land. But the planet's energy imbalance has doubled in the last 20 years, and scientists do not know how long oceans continue to massively soak up excess heat. So, while everyone's as convicted felon Trump is dismantling all of the climate policies and leaving the Paris Agreement and just wants the world to end, everyone else is put on pressure to fight the fight because they're not doing it, right? We're going to have to fight even harder if one of the largest GDP countries is just not interested at all. Got a joke for that?
All right, so I have a joke. I have a joke told by a black comedian, so don't come down on me. He said his name is David Perdue. He says the solar power is free labor, and most American thing to do is to use free labor, right? Mm-hmm. as we did with slavery. So we just have to tell people the sun is black.
Today on Juneteenth of all days, you're gonna tell a black joke? Oh my god! No, I'm just.
I'm repeating a black joke that was uttered by a black comedian. So I just
in front of my Juneteenth barbecue, myself. You're gonna tell a black joke. I wish I could go to a Juneteenth barbecue.
No, it's appropriate. It's appropriate to Juneteenth because it talks about slavery.
I'm being sarcastic. Sorry, I'm not being serious.
I know. Oh, did you spin sarcasm on the wheel?
No, but maybe I will now. Let's
all right, here goes your 13
for our Thursday 13 list.
Oh, yeah. We'll try to whip through this in under 25 minutes. No, we'll do better than that.
Oh,
all right, so I've got 13 more. We did part one.
I was staring at the wheel, but I didn't use my eyes to read it. Let me do it. Figure out what it rule. It would help if everything wasn't broken today, and then I would actually see what it's rule.
My excuse is dementia. That's my excuse.
My excuse is I just can't see. Let me back here.
Oh, okay. Okay, what's the wheel?
It landed on mixed metaphor. There we go. Mixed metaphor for
all right, so you don't have to work too hard. All right, there's a lot of songs we're going to cover, so I don't know what to do. I mean, it's going to be tough to just sell on one. So last week we did part one of the musical questions, and I discovered that, man, there sure is a lot of good songs that ask questions. So I expanded my list out to, I think it's up to 5 parts now. So we're in part 2. Part 2 of musical questions. We're going to start with number, I guess, 1 or 14, whichever way you want to do, if you're scoring at home. Or you're not scoring at home, you're just alone. That's a sex joke. Anyway, scoring at home, get it? You're supposed to laugh. Hit the laugh button or something. Anyway, the ring. Number 1 is What Is Life by George Harrison from his debut solo album. George Harrison, we were talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, having 2. He's in there twice, once with the Beatles, once as a solo artist. He probably should be in there with Traveling Wilburys too, but he won't, because everybody in Traveling Wilburys is already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. Anyway, What Is Life by George Harrison, which he asks the question, where would I be without you? And again, he's probably talking to his wife, but I don't know. He could be talking to his guru for all we know. George is a mysterious guy. So he asked that question, what is life? It's got a great guitar riff on it. And George hired a lot of musicians to work on his first album, which was also a double album called All Things Must Pass. So, and I did not put All Things Must Pass on my double album list as an oversight by me. I would probably have to look and make another double album list. I know, I'll have to make another double album list. Number 2 or 15 if you're scoring at home, or again, alone. Is She Really Going Out With Him? By Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson spoke for all the nerds in the world who couldn't get any girls to pay any attention to him. And of course, he was just, oh my God, she's dating a gorilla. Not a legitimate gorilla, but you know, Joe, obviously, one of them girls that was shy, couldn't talk to girls. So, man, he wrote a song about it. So one of your nerd songs from the 1980s, from Joe Jackson, one of your new wave guys who dressed like he was from the 40s, sounded like he was from the 40s, but was a new wave hero. Go figure that out. And number 16 or number 3, if you want to go on that, I'm going to stop repeating that. Number 3, Are You Gonna Go My Way by Lenny Kravitz. We got somebody more modern on this list. Lenny Kravitz, of course, several hits, several remakes like American Woman. The first song I remember him was Let Love Rule, which is a pretty cool song. But Are You Gonna Go My Way? Not exactly sure what it means, but I'm pretty sure it's kind of a, I want to say a tribute song to Jimi Hendrix, because it kind of repeats the same themes as the next song from Jimi Hendrix, which is number 5 on our list. Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix. He's basically asking the same way. Are you going to go my way? Are you experienced? Are we going to get down? That's what he's saying.
Do you know how to do the dirty?
That's right. Are we going to have to discuss this with your mom and dad at some point? Anyway. That's the question that Jimi Hendrix is saying. Right, very uncomfortable. Are you old enough is what he's actually saying. Are you going to go my way? It's a little bit more. I know you're old enough, but are we going to do it? So,
Are we just talking or are we talking, you know?
Is this a game or what? All right, number 6 or 19. Do You Want to Know a Secret? Another George Harrison song. He sang, anyway. First Beatles songs, but it's the first Beatles question. Do you want to know a secret? And the question, of course, is yeah, of course. Who doesn't want to know a secret? So, and of course, the secret was I'm in love with you.
As a child, I really don't want to know that. That makes me uncomfortable.
Well, you know, George had to let the cat out of the bag with a title like that, and the secret was...
Hey, stop doing metaphors!
I'm in love with you! Oh! Stop it, George! I don't want to know his secret. I want to be... I'm not? Okay. Or George isn't. George is not allowed to metaphor. Number 21, Marvin Gaye.
Thank you for following.
Woo! Hit the soundboard. Anyway.
No, a sound goes off when we get
number
followed.
21.
Dad. You'll see it later. We already have a sound go off.
21. Number 21 or 9, I think. Whatever. Is What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, of course, released Motown's first political album, which was also called What's Going On. And the question, of course, what's going on? He was asking, why are all of the Vietnam veterans being killed in the war coming back as black people? There's no white people going. That was his question. This is a war being fought by black people for Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say it in those words, but, that was the feeling of, I don't know, most of the country by 1969. Number 10 or 22. I think it's 10. 10, 11.
I wonder when
12,
this dad
13,
joke's going to run out.
That might be 9. Number 9. I'm sorry, this is number 9 or 22, so that was great.
Number 9. Number 9.
This is from Elvis Costello. Yeah, there's 4 left after, so this must be number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Thank you, Boruto, for being second in the stream today. We're getting all the alerts today.
You're right on it. You're right on it with your comments. Quoting the Beatles. Anyway, so what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding is what Elvis Costello asked the question. What is so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And that's what we're saying. Stop making fun of people who just want to get along with other people. Like, war's never been the answer. It's always just caused more problems and more dislocation of refugees and grief. So, again, but what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding is a rhetorical question. Obviously, is it funny? But there's a segment of our population, at least the United States, that thinks cruelty is the only thing the United States should be about. And they elected a president. So we got to deal with these clowns. Unfortunately, they don't exist. But the question still exists from Elvis Costello. What is so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And another peace song. This is a little bit older. Going back to Pete Seeger wrote this, and hundreds of people have remade it. And it's called Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Where Have All the Flowers Gone is a peace song. It's like, what? Basically, this used to be a meadow. This used to be a park. Now it's bomb craters. So number 10, I guess now. I guess we're at 10 or 11. 10, 11, 12. Okay, this is 10. 11. We're going to go with the same artist 2 songs in a row. And this is Creedence Clearwater Revival. And this song has received a new, what do you call it, revival these days. A new video was put out a couple years ago that people have been watching. And it's Have You Ever Seen the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Of course, the song is not about rain. It's about a metaphor. Rain is a metaphor. Have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? And, of course, the rain is nuclear rain. And the sun is not the sun. The sun is a big old bomb. Anyway, so have you ever seen the rain? I don't know what context people see it in now, but when it was released, the sun was a bomb and the rain was nuclear rain. And number 12 or 25, as you see it, is another CCR song, is asking another musical question about rain. Who'll stop the rain? Who'll stop the rain is not about nuclear war. The rain is actually war itself, right? The rain is about misery itself. You know, the sign, the lyric goes, 5-year plans and new deals wrapped in golden chains. And still I wonder, who will stop the rain? And it was during the Vietnam War. And so you definitely, as they played it on, they went to Woodstock, everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. The rain of bombs on civilians in Vietnam. Number 26 or 13 is the last song released by the band Leonard Skinner before their tragic plane crash called Wayne. What's your name? Little Girl, which is highly inappropriate these days. Right? I mean,
probably
you want to talk about politically
then,
incorrect songs?
Fair.
Yeah, Little Girl doesn't mean she was below age by the. A lot of people. Yeah, little girl. It's like he's little, and girl is just a term of affection, not like you're not a child. Anyway, What's Your Name was the song released by Leonard Skinner like minutes, I think, before their plane crashed, and their lead singer Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, and Steve Gaines' sister Casey Gaines was killed in that plane crash, and a lot of other members were killed. Right, and their album Soul Survivor, ironically titled, right? Mm-hmm. Soul spelled as in S-O-U-L, soul as in only, had a plane crash on the Soul Survivors. Sorry, hold on. I'll get the album. I'll get the album cover and I'll describe it to you. Pretty sure it depicts. Somebody else used that title apparently. Soul Survivors album cover, yeah, and I think it was Leonard. Sorry.
A bit of a tangent.
You can go on.
Has anything to do with your list?
The list is over, but you can.
Okay.
The list is over. That's my list. You can go ahead and Right. It was that released. I was just gonna. It was released on October 17th, 1970. 1977. Okay.
Okay.
And when did their plane crash? I have to look that up. Why don't they just tell you in this article?
Maybe you're really bad at researching stuff.
Anyway, Street Survivors. It was Street Survivors, not Soul Survivors. That's why I got it wrong. It was Street Survivors. Okay. I'm bad at looking stuff up. Anyway.
Yeah.
3 days. 3 days. 3 days.
That is pretty
3
wild.
days. Literally 72 hours. Literally minutes almost. You could count the minutes after they released their album, their plane crashed. So, yeah, that's what I was researching while you were reading the article and kept having trouble finding it and ended up doing it at the end. So there you go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's good to know. Well, I do have your mixed metaphors for your lovely list of all the songs with questions in the title. Here we go. I didn't cover all of them, but I think I covered the main themes of most of these songs. Life is a garden, full of branching couples, riding the wave and spilling the beans, while the fire fights the gentle breeze. There you go. How about that for some poetry? You can dissect all of the metaphors for every single lyric, every single title yourself. I challenge you that at home. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about the long list and not having all my research done.
Yeah. We're going to get our culture news and spin the wheel here. I'm going to pay attention so I can actually see what the wheel goes. Well, you've already been doing this all show, but give me a bad pun. About.
Again.
No, last time was a joke. You making a pun in the joke is not my problem.
Pun's just a form of jokes.
We're going to be talking about the Notting Hill Carnival, which is in danger and needs urgent funding. Not on Juneteenth, of all days, that Notting Hill might be losing its funding. This is from Badshaw on The Guardian. The future of Notting Hill Carnival could be in jeopardy without funding from the government, according to a leaked letter from its organizers. The carnival's chair, Ian Comfort, has written the Culture Secretary Andy to request public money, BBC reported yesterday on the 18th of June. It follows a review of the festival in West London that began in 1966, which identified critical public safety concerns that needed additional funding to address the levy. Comfort wrote that the money was essential for safeguarding the future of public safety's iconic event, but they did not state a figure. The Independent Safety Review, whose funding and recommendations have not been made public, who was commissioned by the carnival's organizers and paid for a cost of £100,000 by the Greater London Authority, GLA, Kensington and Chelsea Council, and Westminster Council. In the leaked letter to Nandy, Comfort also referred to a separate report published in April by the London Assembly. It said the research highlighted the increasing strain placed on the Metropolitan Police during large-scale public events. Limited resourcing has restricted the public police service's ability to respond to growing operational pressures, Comfort said in the letter. It went on to say that increasing investment in stewarding and crowd management was now essential to allow the police to focus on their primary role of crime prevention and protection. Comfort added that a failure to secure immediate additional funding risks compromising the public safety and jeopardizing the future of the carnival. No! For anyone who doesn't know, just in case you don't live in London and you have never been there and you don't even know what this is about, it is a carnival, which, think of what they do in Mardi Gras for the Americans out there. Everyone gets on the street. They're all wearing fancy, fancy clothes, feathers, scantily clad women. You're walking down the street and you're playing music, you're dancing, and it's for me, it's a celebration of our Afro people. Okay, whether you're a descendant of Africans, or a UK black person, an American black person, whatever you want to call yourself, celebrating dance and culture and just expressionism. And when that goes away, who's going to be celebrating them if they can't afford it? The carnival chair said that although the GLA and the two councils had provided substantial support stewarding during past festivals, they can no longer meet the growing operational requirements identified in the review. Met Police's Assistant Commissioner Matt Twist previously raised concerns of a mass casualty event at the carnival due to crowd density. Giving evidence to London's Assembly Police Crime Committee last September, Twist said, "While we acknowledge that crime often gets headlines, the thing that worries me most is the crowd density and the potential for mass casualty event, like Crowd Crush, for example. A bunch of people stuck in an alleyway somewhere, and you suffocate to death. Very scary kind of stuff." The carnival, second only to Brazil's Rio Carnival in size, is considered to be the largest street event in Europe, attracts about 2 million people in August bank holiday weekend. This year's event is scheduled to take place in August. To get those tickets, we would like to participate in the largest street event in Europe. The Met had about 7,000 officers on duty for last year's festivities, drawn from local policing teams and specialist units. The Department for Culture, Media and Sport told the BBC it would respond to the letter in due course. Claudia Jones, a Trinidadian human rights activist based in London, put on an indoor Caribbean carnival at St. Pancras Town Hall, now Camden Town Hall, in London in 1959, which is credited with inspiring Notting Hill Carnival. In 1966, the first outdoor festival took place on the streets of Notting Hill with Ron Lassette, a social worker of Native American and Russian descent. Oh wow, so I should go too. It's a celebration of Native American descent as well. Hey, hell yeah. I wonder what tribe. Organizing an event for local children. So this has been a very important London festival, not just for African, but of Caribbean people. It's also just a London thing, okay? And if you get rid of it, that's another thing London uses in its cultural marker. According to the carnival's website, Lassette was a community activist for cultural tensions in the area since the violent race riots of the 1950s. Perfect! Yeah. Hey, you can't hate people if you see them all the time. It was set out to include the local West Indian community in her event. The organizers of Notting Hill Carnival have been contacted to comment, but have not said anything so far. I just want to look up Lassette real quick. Person. English community activist, Notting Hill Festival. It just says she was one of Native American heritage, but it doesn't say what if and who she belonged to. The Native American. So, she probably might not be as Native American as she is. And that's just from my own experience. Saying I'm Native American, She's the daughter of Pocahontas, for all we know. But there you go.
We don't even know, right?
I guess I don't know what you as a people do other than support the event and maybe also write letters to the to the government of the London, government of the United Kingdom, and say, hey, can you please fund this? We don't want it to go away. We don't want to lose it, and we don't want people to get hurt. That's why they need funding, right? Because they need to worry about so many people, 2 million people in the streets all at once. You know, people could be trampled, crushed, you know, all sorts of dangerous things. Got to have the out there to make sure. Also, maybe the A&E ready, you know, so ambulances, stuff like that. And that costs money. They're not working for free. Give me a pun.
Right. Oh my God, canceling a carnival. That hardly seems fair.
Oh man. We need to add a boo sound. Boo for these bad puns. Boo.
What? That's a bad pun.
That's how you feel doing a bad pun. Hey. Evil laughter.
I don't have a video yet. I did not find a video, so you might want to do that. I don't know, but.
Are you filling up to anything in particular, or should I just look for something I care about?
It doesn't matter at this point. I don't have any ideas either, so. I had one, but it was a song that I didn't cover, so I ended up not using it.
Never mind then, right? Yeah.
My list has got 52 songs on it. I'll do it some other time, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't Who Let the Dogs Out either. Anyway, but I accidentally forgot to cover this song, so can't use it as a video. I'll use it next time.
Well, go ahead with your day in history, and I'll look something up. Oh wait, did I roll the wheel?
What's your wheel say?
Not roll the wheel.
Yeah, no wheel.
Right. I can read it.
Dirk Nowitzki's birthday.
Reminds me of a song. Perfect.
Alright.
We can use that. I can remind me of a song that I can use that as a mic drop moment.
Awesome. Alright, so if you got a song about baseball, that might be where you want to go. I don't know. But in 1846, Alexander Joy Cartwright arranged a baseball game between the New York Knickerbockers and the New York Nine at Hoboken, New Jersey. I guess it was illegal in New York to play baseball or something. Yeah, Hoboken, the birthplace of Frank Sinatra, by the way. I've been to Hoboken a number of times.
Probably don't know how to pronounce it.
It's right across. Yeah, it's right across the Hudson River. I think a Hudson River, yeah, from New York City. It's the other end of the Lincoln Tunnel. Anyway, that's enough of that. The first baseball game was played on this day to use the set of rules in which today's game is based. So, standardized baseball game, not just, let's make it up as we go along. They actually had a rule book and rules and umpires and so forth and whatnot. First baseball game today in 1846. 1865, with the arrival, there's your Juneteenth information. 1865, with the arrival of Union soldiers in Galveston, Texas, which is an island, which had no bridge at the time, obviously. 1865. It would have probably got there on a boat or a ferry, whatever. The state's residents finally learned of the Emancipation Proclamation 2 years later. The day became the annual holiday known as Juneteenth, commemorating the end of slavery in the United States, which right-wingers in this country don't want to recognize because they want slavery to come back. Apparently, I have no idea what their problem is other than they're just racist assholes, and I think that's just it. They're racist assholes, and that's all there is to it, because there's no logical reason to not celebrate this day. 1867, the Emperor of Mexico, Maximilian, was executed by our firing squad. Yeah, well, look at that. You can do that to your president? Woohoo! Oh, your emperor. Nobody. I didn't vote for you. Anyway, nobody voted for this clown. He was probably appointed by Spanish, right? Emperor. Don't be an emperor in the Western Hemisphere. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. We ain't playing that. 1896, American socialite Willis Warfield, who became the wife of Prince Edward, Duke of Windsor, after the latter abdicated their British throne in order to marry her, was born. Famous Nazi, Edward, Duke of Windsor. And she was probably Nazi too, let's face it. 1903, Lou Gehrig was born. Lou Gehrig, one of the most durable players in American professional baseball and one of his greatest hitters. Happy birthday to Lou Gehrig. He would be 122 today. Not a lot of people lived to be that day, so Lou, he died young, but he left his mark. 1910, the first Father's Day was celebrated in Spokane, Washington. That's right. Up until 1910, no one in the United States had a father. Fathers did not exist. Nobody had a father until 1910. It's like, holy shit. I mean, I just didn't materialize out of nowhere? That's true. That's true. 1934, the Federal Communications Commission was organized in the United States to regulate us poor people. 1944, during World War II, the Japanese Combined Fleet and the U.S. Fifth Fleet engaged in a major air and sea battle, the Battle of the Philippine Sea, which ended the next day with a U.S. victory. Take that, Tojo, you... Anyway. 1961, Great Britain recognized Kuwait's independence. And ever since then, we've been their butlers, basically. 1963, the Soviet cosmonaut. What are we doing? All we do is work for oil companies, is all we do. Our whole entire existence is controlled by them. I'm aware of it. I hope everybody else is. Anyway. Soviet cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman to travel in space, returned to Earth. We celebrate her leaving Earth the other day. So this is the day she came back. She did come back. She did not go to the moon and become a moon maiden or anything crazy like that.
A moon maiden?
In 2013, American actor. Yeah, moon. I was watching Beverly Hillbillies last night. And Jethro decided he wanted to be an astronaut because he was reading comic books about moon maidens, and he thinks comic books are real. That's basically the entirety. Jethro Bodine is a metaphor for the right wing in the United States. They think shit is real that ain't real. 2013, American actor James Gandolfini passed away, died in a heart attack while vacationing in Rome. Hey, if you're gonna die, might as well die vacationing, huh? Who is best known for his portrayal of mafia boss and family man Tony Soprano, who weighed probably about 100 lbs more than he should have, or he'd still be around today. So he ended Sopranos. 6 years later, he died collecting his heart in Rome. Probably should have cut back on the cannolis, or something.
The cannolis? Have you had a cannoli? They're so good. I never had like an actual Italian cannoli.
I know, right?
Yeah. Of course you're gonna die from that. I don't know why not.
Tony Soprano should have taken the opposite advice to the Godfather and taken the gun and left the cannoli, right? Anyway, sorry. I'm just saying, you carry around a lot of extra weight. You're not doing your heart any favors. Just letting you know. 2016, the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by LeBron James, defeated the Golden State Warriors in a thrilling game. At least it was a thrilling game. Thrilling Game 7 to claim the franchise's first NBA title. That was 9 years ago today. LeBron had left Cleveland, gone to Miami, and come back to Cleveland during his career for that to happen. So LeBron just pissed off everybody. If you don't know, LeBron is basically from the Cleveland area. He's from Akron, I believe. So, yeah. Him leaving Cleveland was a big deal to go to Miami. He won 2 championships in Miami, came back to Cleveland, just so nobody in Cleveland would just hate him forever, and won a championship there. Another featured event in 1953, the Rosenbergs, who did 1/1000th of what Donald Trump has done to this country's security apparatus, were executed for espionage. So, once again, Donald Trump is on death row right now in a federal prison waiting execution, but nope, he's our president. Way to go, assholes. After failure of court appeals and of a worldwide campaign for mercy, husband, wife, and Julius Ethel Rosenberg were put to death in days 1953, becoming the first American civilians to be executed for espionage. Again, it's easy to fucking pick on people that have no representation. They were immigrants, and everybody, the hatred of immigrants has existed from day one, starting with the American Indians hating immigrants, right? So, our feature biography is
to be fair, Native Americans hated immigrants for a good reason.
Right. It's a legitimate feeling. Who are these fucking people? Nothing wrong with it. It's a human emotion, but you got to get past it at some point. If it's based on ignorance, anyway. I'm just saying. Somebody's coming here to take our shit is another thing, right? If they're actually there to take your shit, well, that's the thing, right? They're invading you. It's a different thing. And Aung San Suu Kyi, Myanmar politician and opposition leader. It's her birthday today. She's 80. She was born June 19th of 1945 in Yangon, Myanmar, which was called Burma at the time. Our other birthdays today, Jose Rizal, Filipino political leader and author. We already covered the Myanmar political leader. It's Salman Rushdie, British-American writer and target of they call it a fatwa from the leaders of the Muslim sects, some of them, whatever. Ayman al-Zawahiri, an Egyptian terrorist. Who cares about his birthday? Anyway,
is he 1978.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a terrorist. I know this guy. He's a fucking terrorist. Dirk Nowitzki, birthday, German basketball player, born 1978. So in the day LeBron brought the championship to Cleveland, it was Dirk Nowitzki's birthday, the guy that brought a championship to Dallas. Right?
Wow.
So, yep, he was the star of the Dallas Mavericks when they won their championship. So those are, we're going to National Day calendar, National Watch Day, not like you're standing a watch, that thing you wear on your wrist or on your whatever. If you got a little fancy old, hand watch, it's National Watch Day. So put on your watch and tell everybody what time it is. Literally. National Free BSD Day. BSD is a, what do you call it? A group, whatever software, operating system, crowd sharing software. National Garfield the Cat Day. If you like cats, if your cat eats lasagna, it's your day. And of course, it's World Sauntering Day. So absolutely no reason to be in a hurry. It's summer. It's legitimately the peak of summer tomorrow, which is summer solstice sometime tomorrow or Saturday. So it's World Sauntering Day. And of course, today is Juneteenth, which we already celebrated. So those are all your historical significant, your mispronunciations, your spins of the wheel, your technical glitches, everything for Thursday, June 19th there's no food today. I guess before lasagna with Garfield the cat. There you go.
And of course, what was I supposed to be doing? Oh, I was supposed to be reminding of a song, and then I was looking up. I sent you a link for the mic drop moment. Let me know if you can actually open that and watch it. And that reminds me of a song that I can't think of right now. Is there songs about Juneteenth? Has to be, right? Like somebody wrote a song about it. I don't think there's like a famous song that's like, yeah, this is the Juneteenth song. No. Oh, freedom. There you go. Traditional, spiritual. Oh, freedom. We love freedom. Let's celebrate our freedom. All right. By Kendrick Lamar is about Juneteenth. Okay, sure. I'll take it.
Right on, Kendrick. Right on.
I'll take it. All right.
Is that a mic drop
by Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick.
Juneteenth song for today.
My crap.
Oh, I can't remember how the song goes. But everything's gonna be all right. It's also an international UN observance for the elimination of sexual violence in conflict. Yeah, that's not just any normal sexual violence, but when you're at war, everyone hears about it. You guys gotta, I know us in the north and the western countries are very spoiled and don't know about this, but yes, people are out there invading countries and sexually abusing women just because, hey, I took over. Oh, hello, thank you, hi, welcome. Thank you for the tier 1 sub on Twitch.
Hey.
And thank you for supporting elimination of sexual violence against conflict. That's where that money's going to. We're gonna donate it right now. No, I'm not gonna. I probably won't receive it for the next 3 months. I appreciate the support.
Right,
and I appreciate everyone fighting against war crimes like sexual violence against survivors of war. Leave people alone. I get it. You know, your government sent you over there to subjugate the people or fight for freedom, whatever. Why are you attacking women for? That had nothing to do with it. Go, you know, sexually assault your governor or something. Leave the women alone. Leave the kids alone. And this has been also,
the governor, yeah. Hey,
this has been Allison here from America. Not from America. I don't live in... From the Netherlands. Roger from the United States. As we tie off another Thursday's 13. Or I like to call it Technical Difficulties Thursday. After we had all of the technical difficulties, I could even accrue. I'm sure later when I edit this episode, it'll also be the audio will be desynced and you know, Roger will be upside down, inside out, or something. I can't wait for that. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow for our Friday's news dump. We're going to dump all the news you need to hear about before the weekend. So you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to hear about it because we have told you everything you need to know. Okay? Everything else, who gives a shit? Okay?
Right.
So make sure you subscribe.
We'll saunter on the beach.
You're following all that stuff so you are notified when we go live to
okay, I got the video.
Woohoo! You got the video. Then we're ready for our Juneteenth mic drop moment.
Universal feeling here that
I haven't actually watched it, so I don't know what's in it.
Celebration is the food.
Morning,
so
America.
what should we
oh,
be
it's how to make
serving?
chitlins, probably.
So we're going to learn how to celebrate Juneteenth from this woman. This is the only way. If you're doing it not this way, you're wrong.
Food history and African American culture. So on my table, I have one of my mom's.
Don't forget to make your watermelon into a bowl.
Grapes, blueberries. And then
of course, everyone knows watermelon is the freedom fruit because a lot of people, when they first got free, started selling watermelon on the side of the street to make money. That's why it is the freedom fruit.
Watermelon's one of your first spring crops to get ripe, too. So
the great thing about this spread is that it's all
watermelons everywhere by June.
Hey, we love the self-serving because you know what's great about being free from slavery? Being able to serve yourself.
Telling us how to stay safe in these times.
Portion control. Portion control. That's what it's about.
Is this your go-to?
Yeah,
I am free to be not a glutton, but I choose to be a glutton.
Let's get drunk for freedom.
And red is a reminder of all of the blood
that was shed. Long Island iced teas on me.
Reminder of the blood that was spent before. That's a very
their strength and their resilience. So my go-to red drink. 4 ingredients, super simple.
Drinking the old.
Start with some sparkling water.
Oh, she's gonna give us the recipe right here. Here we go.
Water that has a hint of lemon to it, just to
what are we adding
here? Some lemon to my sparkling
water. Then you're going to use some hibiscus syrup, so you can get this in the store. Or you can make
hibiscus. I don't know if I can get that syrup at my Spar, my corner store. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else for that.
And last but certainly not least, I'm gonna add a little sugar. I add about 1/4
a little sugar,
a
whole damn bowl of sugar.
We're gonna give it a good stir.
Damn, is there any sugar left at the supermarket?
Doesn't the hibiscus have some in there already?
And just garnish with a lemon.
And of course,
let me know what you
don't forget your insulin for when you're done.
I mean, I don't know what it tastes like, but I bet it tastes amazing. Oh, he's about to say. He's like, it tastes amazing.
It's absolutely beautiful to look at. Okay, of course we've got the food, we've got the drink. You know, we got
it does not indicate putting alcohol in that drink.
My favorite part.
Oh,
so
sure.
My dad
that's
always
right. Nobody ever puts alcohol in
peaches, so you have that hot off the grill. I also like to do some apple pies. Again, this year, single serving.
Everyone loves an apple pie.
Super cute. And then last but certainly not least,
the first soul food I ever had was chitlins, and is.
Well, all right, Amber. Thank
you. For them.
I mean, this is American food. When people say American food doesn't exist, I guess it's this, you know? This is American food.
Out Wild Entertaining Magazine. Amber, thank you so
much.
much.
Whatever you eat on Juneteenth, that's the American food.
All American.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.